Hello everyone, it's Amber, and today I'm going to be doing my June wrap-up. I can't believe it's already July. That is insane to me. June was a very good reading month for me. I'm so happy about the amount of books that I was able to read. I read 6 books and I read parts of other ones, but I'm just going to talk about the ones that I finished. I have a lot of books to talk about, so let's just get straight into the video. So the first book that I completed in June was also the first book that I've finished since January, so I'm very happy about that, but that was You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars. I very much enjoyed this book. This was basically like a self-help and like motivational book, and it talked a lot about taking control of your own life and thinking positively. And if you think positively, there will be positive outcomes, because the world and the universe will return that positivity with positive things happening in your life. And it talked about like being able to achieve the things that you want to achieve and having the mindset it takes to be able to do that. If you guys haven't heard of like the law of attraction, it really talked about that, but it did it in a way that it's a lot more tangible. That's something I've been doing a lot of research into, and it's really helped me in like me being a worrier and having some anxiety. Like, having the law of attraction really has helped me, so this book kind of put it in perspective and kind of explained it in a way that I feel like is very tangible for people. If you haven't done research on it and if you don't really know about it, it kind of puts it in a way that you can understand and that you can kind of grasp this concept, because when I first heard of it, it was a very new concept to me, and I resonated really well with it, but it takes a bit to kind of let it sink in and really believe it. So she used real examples about how it worked with her and all this stuff, and it's really cool. And she never really calls it the law of attraction, so that's why it's kind of more in a format that a lot of people will resonate with and understand a lot more. She kind of puts it just in a more understandable way, and it was really well done. It really motivated me, and I pulled a lot of quotes out of the book that I really enjoyed, and a lot of things in it that just really resonated with me. She did touch on money a little bit, and she has another book called like You Are a Badass at Making Money, so I've heard good things about that one as well, so I might pick that one up soon. But for now, I really did enjoy this book, and I would love to talk about it more because I really liked a lot of the quotes in it, and I have a lot of them marked down. And I did recite a couple of them in some of my reading vlogs if you guys want to go back and watch those. But overall, 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. The next book that I finished this month was kind of a tradition for me, and that is to read a Morgan Matson book every single summer, which I've been doing. And I found out I guess I skipped a year one year because I wasn't really like strictly doing it, but I've been doing it like for the past 4 years, 5 years, something like that. But the one that I read this year was Second Chance Summer by, of course, Morgan Matson. This follows this girl named Taylor who, her and her family used to go to this lake house every summer, and they kind of stopped going, but then they find out that her dad actually has cancer, so it'll be their last summer together, and they go to the lake house, and old friendships and romances kind of come up again from when she was there last time that she has to resolve, and it's just so good. It's really family centered. It's not as centered around the romance, but it does have kind of a sad feeling to it at some points, but the book itself does feel very summery, and I was afraid going into it that it would be really sad and depressing, and I don't like books like that normally. Like, sometimes I get in the mood to read something that makes me really sad, I guess, but I don't like a book that's all sad the whole time. I want something that's mainly happy but has some sad parts maybe to it, and this was definitely more like that. Like, it was more bittersweet than it was really sad. It was really good. I really enjoyed the main character. I enjoyed her family. I enjoyed the love interest, so I definitely would recommend this one. It's definitely not my #1 favorite Morgan Matson. I don't know, I think The Unexpected Everything is my favorite, but this is definitely up there. I really enjoyed this one. And I was surprised because I didn't think that I would as much as her other books, but I really did. I gave this book a 4 stars, but it's like a 4.5-ish, I would say. So if you're interested in Morgan Matson, this is definitely a good one to pick up. The next book that I finished was actually Second Chance Summer, and this book were both during a 24-hour readathon that I did, which was really, really fun. There's a vlog up. It's one of my last videos, so if you want to go watch it, I will link it down below, and if I remember, I'll put it in the little information button. So the next book that I ended up finishing this month was Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna Maguire. This is actually a sequel to Every Heart a Doorway, which I really, really enjoyed. I listened to that one on audiobook, but I read this one physically, and I really, really enjoyed it a lot. I think I liked it better than Every Heart a Doorway, but I'm not sure. If you didn't know, Every Heart a Doorway is about these kids, and they've all come back from like fantasy worlds, like, you know, like Wonderland and stuff like that. Like, it's not Alice or anything, but it's characters like that, and it's set in a boarding school with these kids, and they want to go back to the worlds that they came from. And this follows 2 of the characters from that book and their journey when they were in their fantasy world, and it's Jack and Jill. If you've read the first book, that's who's followed in this book, and I really enjoyed it. You got kind of an insight into the characters a lot more. I really liked the 2 characters a lot more in this book than I liked them in the first book, and I love the writing. As always, Shauna Maguire, her writing is one of my favorite parts of reading her books, honestly. I gave this one 4.75 out of 5 stars. I would definitely recommend it. I definitely would recommend continuing in that series if you've read the first one, and if you haven't read the first one yet, I definitely recommend starting the series because it's really good. They're all very short, so they're nice quick reads, but they're very, very like packed with a lot of valuable things, and I really, really enjoyed this book. The next book that I finished, I read on audiobook from my library, and that was Sadie by Courtney Summers. So this one basically follows this girl that her sister was murdered, and she's basically going on like a revenge path to find her sister's killer and like kill them. So I really enjoyed this. I find with sometimes audiobooks, like, I zone out at points, which happened to me a couple times, so I had to like go back and re-listen to it and like figure out what was going on. But I really enjoyed it. It's a full cast audiobook. If you are hesitant about audiobooks, I definitely would recommend the audiobook for this one because it's a full cast. And that's how I got recommended to read the book, was specifically reading it on audiobook, and I'm glad that I did. It was told like a podcast kind of, so it was separated into 2 parts, and one part was this guy that was trying to find the main character Sadie, and he was running a podcast, and then it was Sadie and like what she was up to and what she was doing. So like it was split up into those 2 parts, and it was really, really good. I definitely was very into the story, very gripped by it. I enjoyed the like kind of mystery of it, as well as like the revenge plot sort of thing, but I definitely really enjoyed it. I liked the characters and everything, but it was very, very dark, so just warning, it has obviously like murder and other things in it that it could be sensitive topics. It's very, very dark. There's nothing light in the book really at all. It's always dark, so that part of it I liked it, but I also, like I said before, I don't prefer to read books that are always dark all the time, but sometimes I do really, really enjoy them. I give this one a 4 stars. I really, really liked it, so I definitely would recommend picking it up. The next book that I read is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This one is a murder mystery kind of thing. It's about this girl that is in a boarding school, and it's for like special teens that kind of have interesting talents and stuff, I guess. Like, she's really, really into this murder that happened at the school back when it was kind of created in the 30s. So the book bounces back and forth between the 30s and present day. So she's trying to solve the mystery that happened in the 30s, but also another mystery kind of happens in present day, and she's kind of solving that as well at one point in the book. So it's definitely very good if you like mysteries and like murder mysteries, stuff like that. This is definitely a good one to pick up. I really liked the main character a lot, and I initially really my favorite thing about the book is the setting. I love the setting of it. I love the development of the world and the setting and the school and everything. Like, I like boarding school books. I just think it's so fun and so good. But the side characters I definitely didn't feel quite as connected to as I felt the main character, and I couldn't quite put my finger on why, but I still really enjoyed this book. I love the main character and I really love the setting, and I really hope that throughout the next book that I'll get more attached to the other characters, because I'm definitely going to continue. I have the next book to continue on to, but I definitely felt like kind of connected to some of the side characters, but I wasn't really attached to any of them. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I gave this one 4 stars, so I definitely am going to continue on. I really enjoyed it, but I'm excited to see how the other characters like fleshed out in the next book. The next book that I finished was The Bone Witch by Rin Shipeko. This one basically follows this girl. She lives in this world where there are all these different types of witches, and she one day raises her brother accidentally from the dead and finds out that she is a bone witch, and bone witches are kind of hated in this world. A lot of people really are scared of them or don't like them, so she has to kind of deal with that, and she also has to train to be a bone witch, and everyone has this like heart's glass thing, which I thought was a really interesting concept. It kind of glows the color of what witch you are, and it also kind of goes with your emotions and stuff and like changes color based on that, and only certain witches can read it and see emotions in people's heart glasses. So I think that was a really cool concept. I definitely really enjoy the world that this is set in. I think it's really well developed and really cool. Once again, I really enjoyed the main character, and I did feel connected to some of the side characters, but there were also a couple that I was like, I don't know, I got confused because there was a lot of different characters at points, and I got a little confused about who is who. And this book is definitely very heavy on like description and action type of things, but not as much on dialogue. So there are points where it kind of went a little slower, because it was talking about like her training a lot, and it just kind of talked about it. But overall, like, I think that although the pacing was a little bit slow, I really got into it, especially at the end of the story and at the very beginning. But the middle did drag a little bit for me, but I still was able to like get through it and like enjoy it. I gave this one around like a 3.5 stars because I really did enjoy it, and I'm gonna continue, but I definitely think that it did drag at points, which is what kind of bumped it down a little bit, but I still really did enjoy it, and I'm excited to continue in the series. So those are all the books that I read in June, minus the audiobook and the ebook that I read. So I did have a very good reading month. I really did enjoy all of these books, and I hope that you guys, if you read them too, you guys enjoy them. But let me know down below what your reading month was like, if you guys read a lot of books or if you didn't read too many books. Definitely let me know all of that in the comments down below, because I love talking to you guys all the time. So if you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe down below if you want to see more of my videos, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!
Words that I say, downtown the lights out, but we choose to stay. I don't know where this may go. These strangers know all the words.